So I know that smoking can be a little bit intimidating, but I feel like once you get the hang of it, you become a pro. And I want to say it's probably one of the easiest and one of my favorite methods to cook. So today I'm going to show you how to make this delicious, juicy smoked barbacoa. Here I have a big chunk of chuck roast that I got from Costco. It is about 15 pounds. Now when smoking big chunks of meat, I feel like when you inject them with flavor, they come out even juicier and even better. Usually when making the barbacoa, you put all your ingredients inside of the pot, a little bit of water, and you just let it cook down. In this case, since we're going to be smoking, you cannot have that water. For the ingredients, we're gonna need 8 guajillos, 2 large onions, 2 garlic heads, about 1.5 tablespoons or 2 of peppercorns, 2 tablespoons of chicken bouillon, 2 of beef bouillon, and about 4 bay leaves. My store only had bay leaf confetti. And I almost forgot 1 tablespoon of cloves. Now you're gonna put everything into the blender in the raw, even the chile guajillos. You're gonna blend this using equal parts water and beer. You can use whatever beer you want or whatever beer you have on hand. It doesn't really matter. I happen to have Blue Moon, which I was like, oh my gosh, perfect, because Blue Moon has like a little orange flavor, and I was like, more ingredients and more flavor. Make sure that you blend this super, super thin, because remember, we're going to inject it into the meat and we don't want our injector to get clogged. Did I say super, super thin? I meant to say make sure you blend it super smooth. Don't worry guys, I'm just here showing you the big chunk of meat that I'm gonna be working with today. I'm gonna season both sides of the meat using a barbacoa seasoning from Fuego Lento, I believe is what the brand's called. I'm also gonna add salt and pepper. And remember guys, do not worry about seasoning. Seasoning is not the enemy. This is a big chunk of meat, so you need a lot of seasoning. If I were to only add that to the outside, the inside's gonna taste like, I don't even know, like plain beef with smoke. Marinade is also well salted, so whenever you put it inside the inside, you're gonna season the inside also, leaving all of that delicious flavor in and out as it should be. Just gonna inject half of it into the inside, and then the rest is gonna go on the outside. I'm gonna add 1 more beer onto the outside just to have more liquid into the marinade, but you can also just add water. I'm gonna let this marinate on the counter for about 2 hours, but you can also do this overnight. But I don't find that necessary since you already injected the meat with the flavor in the inside. And you're still gonna have to let it sit on the counter for about 2 hours because you want to bring the temperature of the meat down. Because this recipe already takes 24 hours cooking, you don't want this whole process to be 48 hours. You're gonna remove the beef from the marinade. You're not gonna throw that away. You're gonna put it in the fridge, reserve, because I'm gonna show you what to do with it later. Now you're gonna smoke this at 250 degrees on super smoke overnight. We're putting a dripping pan underneath the beef. That way we can catch all of the drippings because we're gonna need those for later. Remember the marinade that I told you not to throw away? Well, this is where it comes into play. It's the next day in the morning, so now you're gonna remove the beef from the smoker. You're gonna put this into the marinade that you reserved, and then you're gonna take out the pan with all of those beef drippings and you're gonna add it into that pan. You're gonna tightly cover it up with foil. You can easily put it back into the smoker, but there's no point of me burning my pallets when the smoke is not penetrating the meat because it's covered in foil. We're just gonna put it into the oven at 250 degrees until the internal temperature of the beef hits 205. Once it reaches 205 degrees, you're gonna remove it from the oven and let this rest. I can't tell you enough, guys, when smoking, when grilling, when pan searing, when cooking any protein, let the meat rest before cutting into it. We're gonna let this rest about an hour to an hour and a half because it's a big chunk of meat. Once it has rested, now you can come in here, start picking at it, start shredding it, and literally just admire your work. I personally like going in here with my hands. I just double up in gloves because it's still pretty hot. And I go in here and I remove any extra fat that didn't melt or didn't render, or any tendons or any chewy parts that should not be in here. All we want is that delicious meat covered in all of those juices and that fat that has rendered. Oh my God, it is so freaking good. I'm telling you, just follow this recipe. You won't be disappointed. Now you can make some tacos or tortas, whatever it is that you want. If you like this recipe and you want to see some more, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on everything, and hope you like this recipe. Till the next time, bye. Oh, so good.